Hi, welcome to another FaB and Chill video. Something a little bit different for you today. We're going to be entering an altered reality, the world of alter art cards. Now I'm no expert on this, I just dabble, but I've had some pretty good results. I'm going to share my process and how I go about it, so grab a drink and let's get in. Okay, let's have a look at the setup and see what we need to get started. You're obviously going to need a card that you're going to alter. We've got an electric eraser. These are about 10 quid, but they save a lot of time and effort. You need some decent lighting so that you can really see the details on the card. A mixing palette and some acrylic paints. These are just cheap ones, they're fine. You need a range of brushes and sizes, although the fine ones are really useful. You need some water. We need some kitchen towel, cocktail sticks. These are really essential and you'll see why later in the video. I finish it off with a clear varnish spray to seal. The whiskey is essential, but the Glenkern glass is optional. You can get the majority of this stuff pretty cheaply. It needn't cost a lot to start. First thing we need to do is prep the card ready for painting. Let's get into that. So I like to use a single piece of blue tack on the back of the card, right in the middle. It just raises the edges up of the card from the surface. First thing to do is use the electric eraser, or a normal eraser if you haven't got an electric one, to just rub at the edge of the card and take the gloss off the card. This helps the paint to take to the surface. You can see how it's starting to rub the gloss off the card. Pour yourself a whiskey, because this bit takes a while. Slowly work your way around the border, making sure you're removing all the gloss. Use a little bit of sandpaper in places just to take the gloss off where it's been a bit tough. When you've prepped it, it'll look something like this. You can see how the gloss has been taken off those edges where we're going to be painting. The next step in my process is to paint a base layer over the top of those edges that we've just rubbed out. First thing to do is get the paints on your palette and have yourself a slug of whiskey. Next, you want to mix yourself a colour similar to the lighter colours in the art on the card. Then you want to be going around the edges of the card, working your way round, providing a really solid base layer from which to work with. Flesh and Blood hero cards and weapon cards really lend themselves to doing alters because they're tokens, so you can get them pretty cheaply and have a few attempts. I think the first one I did was a Dawnblade. When you look at it, it's a relatively simple alter to do to make into a full art version. I would start with something like that and then work up to some of the more complicated ones. Right, our base layer is complete. The next step in my process is to start to match some of the colours in the art and work your way around the border to begin to give it that full art effect. We're not looking for detail here, we're just trying to match some of the colours and extend the art outwards over those borders that we've pre-painted. We're working on an Icelander here. This one's going to go to friend of the channel and fan of alter art cards, Darren Hazelden. He recently had a professional alter done of Prism for his Prism deck, and it looked absolutely incredible. There's some really talented artists out there. Anyway, perhaps we'll see this one on the top tables at the UK Nats soon. You can see how we're trying to match those colours with the different shades that we've mixed in our palette. Work your way around the border matching those colours. Mix plenty of different shades in your palette, and you can test the colour next to the card to make sure you're getting it right. Once you've done that, the next step in my process is to start adding some detail and texture. You're going to need a much finer brush. You can see how we've matched the colours around the border and we've started to add some details with the finer brush. A useful thing to do at this point is to have a look on the Flesh and Blood website under Marketing Assets and find the full art version of the hero. We're working our way around the card, extending parts of the artwork over the border. This part of the process takes the most time. Take your time, there's no rush, you can always go over any mistakes. As I mentioned earlier, there are some really talented altar artists out there. It's a part of our community that doesn't get a lot of airtime, so I wanted to highlight it in a video. I'm just playing at it really, I'm not a professional, I've never charged for any cards. For me, it's more about the journey rather than the destination. I get into a zone, it kind of takes my mind off things. Once you've finished adding the texture and the detail around the border, it's time to neaten up those edges. This is where you need those cocktail sticks. Moisten it in the water and then gently and carefully remove the paint from around the edges. Slowly work your way around all the borders of the text box too, carefully removing paint to reveal those more ornate borders. Time spent doing this is time well spent. It can make the finished look of the card look a lot more professional. Once you've done this bit, you're almost there. Just one last step to go. It's time to have a good look at it. Make sure you're completely happy with it, because you won't be able to add any more paint after we've sealed the deal. To seal it and finish the card, I use a matte clear spray varnish. Spray it from a distance evenly all over. I'm not sure if this is the right stuff to use, but it seems to do a good job. It's time to put it down and walk away. Don't be tempted to touch it before the varnish is dry, because it'll leave marks in the surface. When it is dry, you can remove the cardboard, take off the blue tack, and feast your eyes upon your creation. Cheers guys. Darren, good luck with Icelander. I hope to see it on the top tables of the UK Nats. Thanks for watching a different type of FaB and Chill video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it highlighted a different aspect to our community, and one that you might like to get involved with. If you did like literally watching paint dry, then please comment to let me know below, and I can do more of this type of content. In the meantime, please subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time for some more FaB and Chill.